Now let's go over the Your Hero's Journey activity. Make sure that you are going through the worksheet as you watch this video. Now that you can see how powerful storytelling is for the transformation of the human mind and spirit, it's time to look at the 12 steps of the hero's journey and how it relates to your own life. Now, there are no right or wrong answers here. Simply reflect on each step and check in with yourself to see what experiences from your own life that you can relate to that stage of the journey. Now, you might have experienced more than one journey in your lifetime, because every time there's a calling, like a problem that pulls you to face a challenge or to change, then that means that the hero, or you, is being beckoned to a new adventure. So again, that might have happened multiple times. So you can go through this activity imagining that it starts early in your life and the story addresses the first big challenge that you faced. Or you can address the most recent challenge, maybe the one that you're going through right now. Or you can do this activity more than once. But in the end, remember that your answers to the questions about your experiences within each stage might not fit together chronologically. The story might not unfold like a movie. And in fact, it probably won't. But that's not the point. The point is that by looking at your life this way, you'll be able to see that you too are on a path of a hero. And you too will transform and fulfill your destiny. So just trust the journey. So let's look at step 1, which is called the ordinary life. Most of the time, the hero starts out living a normal everyday life. Everything is familiar and comfortable. They feel a sense, though, of unease. They're uncomfortable, they're dissatisfied. And something happens that wakes them up to the fact that something is wrong. So in your life, what were the first stirrings of dissatisfaction or unease? And what happened to wake you up to the need for change? So now let's look at step 2, which is called the call. So depending on the hero, the problem could be external, such as a catastrophe happening in the world around them. And for others, the problem is internal, such as becoming aware of a deep dissatisfaction with some aspect of their life. So after being exposed to this information, the hero feels called to do something about it. The hero is challenged to take action and to step into the unknown. So in your life, what are you feeling called to do? Now remember, this could be a calling that already happened or one that's happening now. And this could be many things. It could be a calling to advance your career, pursue a passion, improve your health, change a relationship, start a business, support a cause. Whatever it is, write it down. Step 3 is refusal of the call. So often, at first, the hero fails to answer the call. They're afraid of what it's going to take, or they don't think that they can do it, or they think that it's going to be too hard. They feel insecure or inadequate. The familiar life of comfort calls to them, and so they resist this new adventure. They hesitate, but they become increasingly aware that there are real consequences if they don't act, because something meaningful will be lost if they don't. So in your life, what fears or resistance did you experience after becoming aware of the problem that either is or was calling you to action? What additional situations or information were you presented with that further helped you see what was at stake? And what either are or were you going to lose if you didn't act? So then there's step 4, the guide. In most stories, the hero meets a guide, a mentor, or a helper of some sort that provides vital advice and points them in the right direction. And the timing of the appearance of the guide varies, and so if the hero refuses the call, often a helper is someone who appears to nudge them into answering the call. And sometimes the guide continues to return to the hero to help them move along in their journey throughout the journey. However, the guide never saves the hero or does anything for them. The hero doesn't need to be saved. But at the same time, the hero never does it alone either. There's always a guide. So in your life, who have been your guides? You can list all the people who have influenced you, including mentors that don't even know that you see them as a guide, such as authors of books you read, for example. However, make sure to identify what guidance you have received that specifically relates to this story. Throughout the rest of the steps in this journey that you're going to be working on, make a note anytime that a guide, whether it's the same guide or a new one, pops up to provide additional advice or direction. Now let's look at step 5, the threshold. This is the pivotal moment when the hero officially leaves the ordinary world and steps into the journey or adventure in a way that they cannot turn back. This is the decision point. This is where the hero begins their quest. And so in your life, what decision point have you experienced? Or are you there right now? What is that threshold, the pivotal moment? Imagine that you stepped from your old life into your new life. What would that actual step look like? So this could be an internal decision, a public commitment, a phone call, physically going somewhere, making a purchase, enrolling in something, or something symbolic. And also, what exactly is your quest, your journey? What would you call it? Give it a name. Then let's look at step 6, the road of trials. Now, the entire purpose of a quest is for the hero to learn and grow, and, well, become the hero. And in order for that to happen, there are inevitably obstacles to overcome, challenges to meet, and tests of strength of will. The hero will learn rules for this new world. There will be moments of victory and moments of defeat. The hero will meet allies who help them face their foes. This is the action and adventure part of the story that keeps people engaged, wanting to know more. If the hero just went right from the decision to the victory, then no one would watch. And it wouldn't make for a very fulfilling real-life story either. There's always more meaning in the underdog story, isn't there? So, in your life, what obstacles or challenges have you faced or are you facing? How has your strength of commitment and will been tested? What are the rules that you've found in this new world? And how are they different from your old life? What victories have you had? And in what ways have you failed? Who are your allies and who are your enemies? So then, step 7, the approach of the Innermost Cave. This is the turning point when the hero finally goes all in. They reach the point when they are 100% certain what must be done. They are ready to accept the risks and the possibility of failure. The second decision point happens when the hero approaches the Innermost Cave. This next threshold can be something literal, such as having to enter the cave, which contains what the hero fears the most, or the ultimate challenge that the hero might face is inside of this cave. But it can also be entering into the hero's darkest places, their inner conflict, their demons. The hero prepares to face this one big thing that they've been putting off. And often the hero rests briefly to reflect on the journey and summons the courage to face this treacherous road that awaits. Tension escalates in anticipation of the ultimate test. So in your life, what is the Innermost Cave? What is the one big challenge? What decision must you make? And if you find yourself at this point right now, this is the perfect time to be reflecting on your journey, which gives you the courage to see how far you've come and that your life has been preparing you for this moment. You are ready. So how are you feeling? And if you were the guide, what would you tell the hero at this moment? Then there's step 8, the ordeal. This is the ultimate test. And in movies, this part is called the climax. It's the peak of the action. The hero must face their greatest fear or face their most terrifying foe. One way or another, the hero must face death, whether it's literal or figurative. The hero uses the skills and experiences that they've picked up along their journey through all of their challenges and their innermost cave in order to face this final challenge. It's the hero's moment of truth. Everything is put on the line, and the hero moves forward knowing nothing will ever be the same again. It can't. This must be done. And looking back, it's obvious that this moment was inevitable. So in your life, what is the death that you will face? That could be the fear, the situation, or the foe. What skills and experiences have you picked up along your journey that will serve you? And what exactly must you do at this point? Can you see that your entire life has been leading up to this moment? Step 9, the transformation and reward. The hero defeated the enemy, survived, and overcame. But more than anything, the hero transformed, like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. Out of the ashes of death rises a phoenix of symbolic rebirth. The hero receives a reward in some form, whether it's recognition, power, wisdom, reconciliation, an actual treasure, something. But in the end, no matter the price, the true reward is always the glory of personal transformation itself. The real change is internal. So in your life, what will this transformation look like? How will you feel? What will be different? How will you be different? And what reward will you enjoy? And will it all have been worth it? Then step 10 is the road back. The hero cannot relax and enjoy the thrill of victory for long, unfortunately, because there's another call, the return home, to share the spoils of the reward or to bring what has been learned to those that they care about. The journey's not over. With reward in hand and transformation in heart, the hero charts the path back. But the road can be filled with additional risks and dangers. A villain may appear who seeks to steal the reward. Unresolved issues might need to be dealt with. The hero might face their own shadow. These additional roadblocks challenge the hero to internalize what they've learned and prove to themselves that they have, in fact, changed for good. And it's in this stage of the journey that the quest is actually won or lost. So in your life, what does returning home represent? How are you going to use what you've learned or accomplished in your life? Who will you help with what you do now that you know what to do different? At this point, what unresolved issues do you anticipate that you might have to face? Or what other obstacles do you anticipate might pop up in response to your transformation? And what shadows might be lurking? Then step 11, rebirth. This is the moment that the hero crosses the final threshold, the final test of the hero's true growth. The hero is tested for the final time. It's their moment to demonstrate their mastery and step into their power. This final battle pushes the hero to defeat their limitations and release their old self once and for all. They return home a hero. So in your life, after transforming, defeating your foes, or reaching your goals, what final battle may you need to face? Is there another step in this journey that you need to take in order to fully be able to feel as though you are home and able to integrate everything that you've learned in your life? What would it take to embrace your new self 100%? And finally, step 12. Return with the elixir. When the hero returns to his ordinary world, a changed person, they will have something to share with these people back home. This could be a solution to a problem, a new perspective of life, a resource that they've found, or some sort of resolution with key players. Sometimes the hero faces doubters or even is punished for their journey. But in the end, the hero always shares what they've learned or acquired with those that they did it all for. That is, after all, what makes them a hero. So in your life, what is the elixir that you are bringing back? Who are you going to be sharing it with? How are you going to pay forward what you learned? What difference are you going to make in the world? Are there going to be any haters or doubters waiting for you? And if so, how can you remind yourself that you didn't do it for them? You did it because it was your destiny to be the hero of your own life and to pay forward to those who are willing to take what you give. So regardless of where you find yourself in your personal adventure, the hero's journey shows you that you are always exactly where you're supposed to be. All you need to do is take the next step. And as your journey continues to unfold, remember that it's not about avoiding problems. It's about what you learn while you overcome them. And it's not about perfection, it's about progress. And it's not about becoming famous or popular. It's about becoming you. And it's not just about you. It's also about how you use your life experience to make a greater impact. So, journey on.